Hi there, and welcome back to my psychosexual series discussing the dangers of dating elder men, men of an advanced age. And today I want to read out a really disturbing post that I saw on a forum. And I'm going to protect the identity of the person involved who posted it. I'm not going to reveal where it was posted, and I'm going to paraphrase anything that I quote so that you cannot search it up online. So anyway, I found a forum where there was some exceptionally young females. We're talking like teens, 18, 19, and 20s, early 20s, etc. They'd all apparently found each other and were discussing their relationships with elder men. These men often being in their 50s and 60s, etc. So yeah, they appear to have found each other and they're sharing their experiences, basically speaking in defense of their taboo relationships. And so one of the posts, which I'm going to paraphrase because, as I've said, I don't want you to be able to search for the original thread online and potentially harass them because, they have to look for help and find videos like mine. We can't go looking for them, harassing them, approaching them by using logic when we perceive them to be behaving irrationally. It's not going to work. You can't use logic on an irrational person. You just have to let people make their own mistakes and come to their own realizations, unfortunately. And that's something that I found out the hard way over the years. Anyway, it reads as follows. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much like this. So, thank you for all the support, girls. I love my partner. He is so sweet and kind to me. We have a great relationship, and to hell with everybody else who doesn't understand our love. He never criticizes me or argues. But, and there is a big but here, she goes on to add, at the end of the same post, she says, however, he is now experiencing serious health issues and is unable to walk. He is requiring a lot of care and attention lately, and it is really affecting my social life and putting an inordinate amount of pressure and expectation on me. Nobody warns us about this, she says. Okay. Where do I even begin with this one? Who exactly is she trying to blame here? And I'm sorry if this sounds incredibly harsh, but the fact that you didn't anticipate this eventuality and apparently needed to be told and ergo are angry that nobody warned you just shows how fucking naive and immature you are. There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, she's 22. There's nothing wrong with being naive. It's inherent with your age. But like me, and presumably everybody else who's watching this video right now, we can see that the elder man that you are in a relationship with is also aware of this naivety in you and is subsequently exploitative of that. He's exploiting it by being anywhere fucking near you, by being in a relationship with you. He's taken away from your own life experiences and you have not benefited from this whatsoever. It just shows in your lack of emotional development and maturity. Nobody warned us about this. Are you fucking serious? That's unbelievable. But it's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's fucking young. She hasn't thought about it. She's fucking young, and now it's finally hit her and she's comprehending it. He is to fucking blame. He is to blame. Even if she was the one to advance on him, a good person in his position of advanced age would rebuff those advances because you would recognize this is a girl with fucking issues, and this is why Mr. Nice Older Man is a myth. It doesn't exist, and I do have another video debunking the myth of the nice older man. It doesn't fucking exist, girls. So yeah, if you want to go search for that video, please do. Okay, so let's try and break this apart. What else is there? Okay, so the fact that he does not provide criticism or there's no arguments within this relationship is a red flag within itself. He's enabling you, basically. He's failing to help you address your evident emotional issues and subsequently preventing you from developing emotionally. I mean, once you're extricated from this relationship, or like the old shuffles off of his mortal coil, you're going to find yourself unable to function in any healthy relationship with your peers and will likely return to a relationship with yet another exploitative elder male. It really is a vicious cycle, and I do know somebody who was very, very close to me who basically went from one elderly guy to another elder guy to another elder guy, and they were all fucking using her to the point where the third one, she was literally age 27 and she was dying of cancer, and this guy who was pretty much almost 60, he engaged to her, he proposed to her, and he's feeding into her narrative saying, we're going to get married and you're the love of my life, you're my soulmate. He knew that she was dying and that she wasn't going to be around, and there was actually no fucking commitment there. He was fucking using her for the brief time that he could, and it's fucking despicable. And that man was sat on a pew in front of me at her funeral. I've known this person my whole fucking life. They were family. I'm not going to say who, but they were family. And I was fucking heartbroken. And I got to sit on the second pew behind a man who's known her for 6 months. a fucking predator. And what's worse is he brought not only his children, but his mother. His mother looked really fucking uncomfortable, like she wasn't proud to be there. I mean, her photograph, she still looked like a teenager still. She's 27, but she looked very young. This is the thing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. It's legal what they're doing. But what's the term? Ephebophilia? She looked very teen. But also, he had one of his daughters with him at the funeral, sat next to him on the pew, and she looked just a little bit younger than she was, my family member who passed away. She just looked emotionally traumatized. I'm going to make another video about this. You know, it just doesn't affect the actual young female in which you're preying upon. Think about if do they have children of their own, daughters of their own? The family dynamic there, for example, having to be raised by a stepmom who is essentially your peer, it warps you. It is not healthy, and it leaves your own daughter with the kind of issues like the need for validation that these other girls need. So it's liable that your own daughter is going to be susceptible to the advances of elder predatory men just like yourself. It's just fucking horrific. It's horrific. Why do we as a society accept this bullshit? So yeah, speaking of society, we regularly emphasize how immoral it is to have sexual intercourse with girls under the age of 18. You know, children essentially, because as a society we're desensitized and only read things, you know, at face value basically, without thinking of the complexity of how people can actually be manipulated and how it damages people. You know, we're not just talking about physical abuse here, mental and emotional abuse, which goes beyond, you know, your childhood and your formative years. When you're 18, 19 and you're in your 20s, you're susceptible to this bullshit from predatory elder men. We know that the act of having sex with a child is wrong because there's a law there in place to ratify this, and it's just like it's ingrained within us. We know that this is fundamentally wrong. It's sickening. Um, Yet nobody talks about how girls just beyond 18 are groomed and exploited and subsequently damaged and emotionally traumatized. And they're prime targets for these predatory men because they're not pedophiles, they're not that stupid. They're not going to go below 18. Sometimes it's a real grey area going down to 16. Seriously, I know a man who's doing that right now. He's been having sex with a 16-year-old. That is a fucking child. You are a pedophile. But he says that he loves her and he's grooming her up for marriage at 18. This guy is a fucking monster, and he's done this to multiple women. I've spoke about him in another video. He is the most disgusting person that I know, and he's just been enabled because he's played victim every time his previous failed relationships with young females failed, and because he's been enabled, as he's aged himself, he's advanced in age, his target demographic is lowering. So he's going from 21 to 18, he's now 16. This is a pedophile in the making, seriously. But anyway, I'm digressing. You know, nobody stops to consider the emotional aspects of the damage caused and the complexity of the nefariousness of the form of invisible abuse that is being incurred by these girls of 18, 19 and young women in their 20s. Just because the trauma to these young women is not considered illegal, it is not invalid. It's so fucking severe. It really is. It should be taken with the same level of severity as if you were in a relationship with somebody under the age of 18. It really should. It really should. Ultimately, these girls and these young women deserve fucking protection, and that is why I am here, because I am fucking sick of this. I am sick of these elder men taking the fucking piss and destroying young women. Now, I've made a point about this before. I may make a video within itself about it, and that is the fact that you, as a woman watching this, you may feel patronized by my talking consistently about you having issues, emotional issues, insecurities, etc., instabilities. But there's nothing wrong with this. This is the thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Everybody is fundamentally flawed in some way. But especially when you are a teenager or a young adult in your 20s, it's more prevalent. We have flaws in fucking abundance. And what's wrong is an elderly man preying upon them. Now, you may not have any of these issues, or you may not feel you do, but other young females who are watching this video may have. And this is who I'm trying to relate to right now. So if I'm helping at least one person, then I've done my job. So yeah, thank you for watching. And red flag, predatory, be careful, please. Thank you. Bye.